Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines. We're getting towards the end of this series for sure now. This might be the last proper episode. I'm going to do a tour or something special for the last one, that's for sure. But we're not going to be doing too much in terms of expansion in this episode. We'll probably finish the expansion of this. And over here in this area, do we have any oil yet? There we go. I told you it'd turn up a little bit late. Also seems like my power connection here wasn't enough, so you've always got to go across the roads to connect it, which kind of annoys me because I want to have something on the inside there. And look, we're going to destroy something by putting it. But anyway, there we go. That'll do. Now they've all got power, they can stop complaining. And we can unpause the game. I had a really cool suggestion, and I'm not sure if I did it for this district over here. The suggestion was to remove the transport thing on each of the districts. And it's the one down the bottom. Yes, I did that for all of the ones over here. So hopefully we'll be able to encourage more workers to come over here into these areas. Also to clarify a few things. Again, some people misunderstanding this stuff in the comments. When I'm talking about the co-worker problems that we have here, every single time I've made this zone, it starts off with lots of issues and over time they slowly go down. I think it just takes the game a long time for workers to make their way over here and then the buildings to stick around. But now that it's in this situation, provided we don't have some sort of crisis, it will stay good for a long time. And I wouldn't be surprised, look at this, we've got 3 bubbles over here. If we come back in 30 minutes, I bet you it'll just be 1 bubble. So that's the way I've observed it working. And over here, look, this one's been established for a long time, and now they've got all of their workers in each building. You can see every one of those is actually maxed out, which is cool, so we could probably expand it, with the exception of this one. But yeah, things are going very good, and all of the cargo is making its way over here and being distributed into the city, which is awesome. And what we're going to do is finish off this space right here. Now I got a suggestion in the comments, so I hopped onto the world to start working on something, and then halfway through getting this area ready, I remembered what I was actually going to do with it. So let's talk about the 2 ideas. We're going to try and do both. The suggestion in the comments even was to create a park area here, just to have it as parks for people to come and visit, which is a really cool idea. The thing that I was going to do was build a rail yard for all of these tracks, you know, have like dead-end tracks everywhere for storage, and use some of the parks that look like containers and put down some stations that are turned off, so it looks like a proper rail depot. And I think what we're going to do is do both. Now the rail depot will take up probably more than half of this space, and then the park will be this little bit of space over here as well. So they're the 2 things we're going to be doing in this episode. Obviously we're going to be working on the city as always as well. So one of the things I want to go around and do is remove all of the buildings that we no longer use, replace them with housing, and hopefully zone up the rest of this area over here as well. Now I've had a suggestion that this industrial demand might actually be for offices more so than it is for industry, but either way we can expand both, can't we? Why did you get abandoned? Can we get to that quick enough? Reason is there were no raw materials. Okay, that's interesting. Just probably taking its time to come over here through the cargo. But let's do both. Oh, look at that. When we zoom out, the detail goes away a little bit on some of those. Yeah, I've had to turn down the settings to keep the frames up, which is unfortunate. And when we start a new city, we shouldn't have that problem at all. So we're going to zone that area there. And I want this area to look nice and filled up. So what we're going to do is actually go for all of this as offices. They were going to be residential areas, but I think there's a very slim chance of actually filling those up. So the experiment over here is going well. However, these new areas, as you can see, are not getting at any buildings. And then the ones on the end here are going across like that. That is interesting. It's not how I expected them to use. So yeah, look at this. Straight away things start popping up. So I'll keep my eye on that. But yes, today's project is the park in the middle and the rail yard as well. So this is how we do it. We've got these random paths sort of going around and sectioning off to make fields. I think in comparison to the size of the city, it does feel like maybe actually it's a bit too much of a small park. This thing taking up the entire area here probably would have looked great. But we're going to put the 2 things into the same area. Why is the game paused? I wonder how long it's been paused for. Sometimes I'm just building and I don't really notice. I feel like some of these areas over here need to be a bit thicker between the 2 different areas, but that's one of the other things that I've gone for here, some sort of areas where the trees are thick. And if you just take a look at what I've done, you know, we just put the paths sort of going down in random places. We've got a little pavilion area here. I used some of those beach tools that we downloaded a while ago, and if you look at them closely they look out of place, but from up here they look pretty cool. And yeah, just throwing down like a few things that are different, the odd tree, a little cluster over here, different size spaces, paths sort of wrapping around with trees on different sides of them, and actually that turned out really cool, so I'm happy with that. That looks pretty awesome, I think. So now we can start with the rail yard. I've not got too much of an idea of how we're going to make this look decent and official, so to speak, but I'm sure we will figure something out. I'm looking at it now and starting to get some ideas, so let's get to it. And it looks like another death spell has ended in the city. Death spell. I like that. That's what we should call them. So let's get rid of these that we built in the last episode. And they're not happy about that, are they, at all? So let me show you what I've done. This is really cool. By the way, zoning out these areas over here. Put in some commercial. Put in some offices like you saw. So that guy's just outside the area. There we go. Now you must be feeling better. Let's zoom in here. By the way, I found a new garden. I don't remember downloading this one, but we got it. Is the Japanese garden. And it looks really cool. I like that. Oh, and someone's going in. They're just gonna vanish into the ground. Amazing, awesome stuff. So let's go over to the train yard. I've started a little bit of work on this, and what I've been doing is placing down. Oh, well, that's a shame. I've been putting these down ever so carefully so that all of these line up. I've been using roads to do that, so they line up all the way to the end where you got the stops down there. And they look really cool, and then all of a sudden I've noticed that there's one missing over there. But do you know what? A little bit of unevenness is always good. So just using the paths and the tracks like we've seen before, and then over here I created like what is supposed to be a perfect curve. I don't think it is, but I put down some roads between. So this is supposed to be a perfect semicircle, but I put the roads across, did the method you'd do for roads, but it doesn't look quite the same with trains. So it's almost there. We're going to fill in this outside area with trees, I think. But then we're going to put some stations in the middle here somewhere and have some more tracks go around. It's going to look very cool. We're going to connect it up to the ones down here. But that is our sort of storage yard over on this side. So this is looking real good. Real good right now. You can see we've put in a cargo bay right here. It's turned off because this is all aesthetic. We've got some additional storage alongside it. And it's all coming together really well. We've got some rural stations over here, side by side. I kind of figured they looked a little bit like service bays. So, you know, the trains go around and in there to get repaired. And from a distance, it's looking pretty cool as well. This thing would have looked so much better if it was bigger, you know. Lots of tracks taking up all of the space, loads of things going on. But for now, what we're going to do is focus on adding a little bit of a car park area down the bottom here. And then a bridge to go over the top. So a bridge is going to go over the top of this rail, and then we're going to put some car parks and small buildings inside this central area. And then, I'm not too sure, we're going to have an exit, an inbound road down here. And there's that crazy noise again. Oh, it's this thing. This makes a load of noise as well, I see. Yeah, and I'm thinking what else can go in this area. I'm really not too sure. There might be one or two more parks that are suited for this, but that's probably going to be it. So a few little buildings along the side here. And the road to kind of bring it all together. But yeah, beyond that, I don't have too many ideas at the moment. So it may not look like I've done much. I've actually just got around the entire city, demolishing all of the schools and hospitals that we don't use anymore. And also this area over here, continuing to zone this with offices and commercial, and never do we get residential demand. It feels like we've hit a wall with this 200,000. But we talked about that enough. So I'm looking at this right here. We've got some terrible traffic problems from all the cars coming into this lane right here and trying to switch across. It's not as bad as it was a moment ago, but it got me thinking what we should probably do here is move this road back a little bit. In fact, because it goes around like that, we could probably curve the long way across and come from just over here. And then this road would go behind and then down into this area. In fact, we'll probably combine it up with that. But I thought, let's do a little bit of building here on camera together. Maybe not too much, sometimes it's a little bit tedious. But I think if we start here, we raise ourselves up by 2, because that's probably where we're going to need to be. Can we connect to that? No. That's not a great start, so let's just bring this as close as possible alongside it. There we go, that's the way we connect it. Not too bothered about it not being curved or anything like that. So over on this side, we also need it to be... Well, actually, it can be 1 high, I think, at first. And let's look at where this is. We've not got too much space to work with, so can that connect to that? No. What if we go up by 1 and across? Maybe not. Let's go further back. Okay, that's directly alongside it. Too steep. And now maybe a little bit of a curve. No, it doesn't like it. It wants to put down a support in the middle. How small would this thing have to be? Yeah. Okay, we're not going to do this on camera. I'm going to figure it out off camera because it looks like it's going to take a while. Well, somehow I managed to forget what we were actually trying to do when I was building that road. I rearranged this right here. You can see it's a little bit awkward. This turn now comes from the inside. Use that one to get around. I like it because it looks weird, but yeah, I just put a road across here to solve the problem in the end. So now the traffic problem there has gone. I imagine there's less traffic coming through this road though, because it doesn't go off in that direction as well. And there's a fair bit of traffic coming through right here. Not too much we can do about that. In fact, traffic in general has shot up in the city. See, our population is still around 200,000. Yet there's been more and more traffic problems, which is weird because all we've done is expanded the commercial and the offices, and it looks like we're still going through a bit of a deaf problem. As always, I've just tended to ignore it and zone it out now when it happens. But yeah, it's kind of strange things in this game. You know, population doesn't increase, but traffic does after adding more public transport as well. And this is very, very bad. And it seems to be caused by this turn right here, because as soon as they're approaching it, people start changing lanes. Look, they get out of that middle lane to go to the outside one, but why? They both go straight on. It's so silly. It's so silly. I don't get it. Maybe we should change the direction of that, or just delete it, because not a lot of vehicles are actually using it. Let's delete that and see what it does. Just solved a traffic problem by putting a little road to nowhere there. So they're all going on the inside lane. These ones are coming across and slowing down the traffic because they're trying to go into one lane together. So I add a little road here, and now they start using the middle lane. And that means they don't join up over here. Same thing happened down here as well. I noticed cars coming around on the middle and outside lane just whizzed through with no problem. And that is really odd, isn't it? So traffic's still bad, but now we've got it moving a little bit. That's good, I guess. Yep, that seems to have done the trick. However, now we've got another problem here. I'm kind of getting sick of this. It's bad driving. It's bad AI. That's what it is. It needs to be fixed. Let's ignore that for now. Let's get this city finished. There's not much more that we want to do here in the world, is there? So I'm going to finish doing this train yard now, and then I'll show you how it goes. Almost is the word I'm going to use right here. Almost. I feel like we got very close to making this look good, but I've kind of maybe just done this last bit of here a little bit wrong. Or maybe we just needed more train tracks in total. But one thing I really liked was not putting a bridge over here. I thought actually the crossroads were really cool. And a nice little addition. So we started off with some industrial buildings. Now these were originally the lowest one down, and they look so good. They had like a little warehouse look, and I really liked it. And then they upgraded, and the same goes for all of these ones as well. They've all gotten too high because they go basically straight up to the third level, or almost, and they don't quite fit in as much. But put loads of the paths down around them, trying to keep the sort of dirt-looking area. It's not really dirt, is it? But you know, just a different texture. And overall, I think it looks alright. Definitely a nice feature to have in the city. I kind of felt like we'd be able to do something a little bit better over here. Kind of lost my inspiration a little bit, I guess, with being distracted by all of the traffic problems, which are now getting fixed, except for this one over here. Looks like they're still doing some lane changing over here. Really annoying stuff, that. But there you go. So I now feel like I've done all of what I wanted to do in this world. We built our little train yards and our park, and we're kind of out of ideas, or at least I am. And as far as continually expanding goes, I would have liked to expand it over here and to have filled out this area. But we've kind of hit this point where we have 200,000 and seemingly a never-ending demand for industrial and commercial. And as you've seen here, we've just been zoning. And it looks like some residential buildings have actually popped up over here. Maybe I should have stuck on with this. Yeah, it certainly looks like maybe there was a little bit more that could be done. But for the longest time there, none of this would expand, and it was getting pretty pointless, it felt like, because we have these death cycles, and the population seems to hover around 200,000. And the challenge feels like it's kind of gone. It's gotten to a point where the city's so big that a lot of the decisions you make don't really have big impacts on anything, and it's kind of how it is. So this episode's going to be shorter just because I kind of feel like that's it. We're sort of done here. And the next episode will probably be a little bit of a tour. We'll browse around the city. We'll maybe even do... I've got some ideas. I'm not going to say anything just because it's quite likely I won't have the time. But there's cool things I want to do with the next video. So, I want to say thank you for all of the support on the series. It's been absolutely terrific. And when we come back with a second season, we're going to start over. We're going to do something really strong. So leave any ideas that you got down there in the comment box. I've got a few of my own, a few of yours as well that look interesting. And got ideas rumbling around and just want to get them finalised and things planned for the second season. And of course there'll be a world download thing in the next video as well, so there's that to look forward to. You can come into the world and try and solve these death problems that we have here. But that's it from me this episode. I hope you don't mind the shorter one, And we are coming to the end of the world here, so that's how it's going to be. But that's it. Right, I've got to stop rambling. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.